I mean, working out the sequences and actually understanding what the local climbing is about, I was just laughing because I felt like if I was born for this crack. Nice to meet you, finally! Actually, I'm very happy to meet you because you are one of the last rock stars.
Still alive, you want to say? Or?
No, what an honor. Thank you.
What an honor for me.
Let's climb some nice slabs that you put up 40 years ago. So this was the warm-up, 7A, Sentierissimo, which translates something like it's just a path. It definitely didn't feel like a path, it's a proper rock climb. I mean, you really have to know how to climb. So Heinz Mariacher is one of the rock stars, and he was a climber that started climbing more in alpine stuff, but he got the wave of sport climbing being born, but then pioneered some of the hard sport climbs in the Dolomites, for example. He opened some of the first 8B plus in the world called Kendo in Valle San Nicolo.
So in the old times, climbing was, especially in the mountains, it was more a man's world. And I had the luck to meet Luisa quite early on, when I was still an alpinist and she was also an alpinist. She climbed really, really well. So that was a big change, and then more and more female climbers showed up after that, but before it was always a story among men. The magic of slab climbing is to really start climbing again with your feet. Slabs are interesting. It's very challenging from the movement, but you can also have nasty experiences, let's say. Not used anymore to climb without footholds.
So why is slab climbing not popular these days? I think at a certain point it's just a bit more enjoyable climbing in the overhangs because it's less about skin, it's less about a proper tight climbing shoes, and if you don't ever slab climb you never really improve and it just feels horrible and you feel like you have no idea what to do. Piaggia delle Lucertole is one of the most scenic crags in Arco, and the pinnacle of this crag from the early 80s is the first ascent from Heinz Mariacher, Tom and Jerry.
I'm 100% sure that Adam will incite this, not a minimum of a doubt. I have seen him climb on a wall without holds. This route has holds, so that's a big difference. I think he will downgrade it to 7A plus, maximum 7B.
The climbing is unforgiving. It's slightly slabby, sometimes vertical, always on tiny holds, which are quite often also turned the wrong way around. There's lots of side pulls and underclings with either tiny or slopey footholds. It's a kind of climbing that you really need to be a technical expert to enjoy that. It's not just about sustaining the pain on tiniest possible crimper, but it's so much about moving well. And I think you really have to climb well in order to move well on this route. Woo! Wasn't easy at all. Pretty happy I did not fail. I mean, it was important to do this route on site for me. And I felt a bit of pressure. I think if you want to see how a true 7C looked like back in the 80s, it's definitely an amazing route. And I'm pretty sure this would have been graded 8A or 8A plus if it was a modern route in a modern track. Slab climbing, the opposite of the overhang, got out of fashion. Actually many years ago. But if we make it very simple, the grade is maybe a combination of steepness, size of the holds, the distance between the holds, the texture or the friction of the rock. And from that sense, it just makes sense that you can really push the limits of climbing even in slabs. Honestly, I don't think I could have even imagined in my wildest dreams that climbing like this exists. Something which is slabby, something which is good for the skin, something that is like really about positioning and everything, but something that is actually pretty powerful as well. It just seems like people 40 years ago stopped climbing basically in the slabs and just turned all of their attention to the overhangs. But I think it's time to bring the slab back. would almost say this crack is nothing like slab climbing I've ever seen, maybe? At least for limestone. It's hard to climb it in an elegant way. It's actually burly. The holds are mostly slopey and it's hard because they are facing the wrong way. And to have this like French style, it's just really hard to climb. And the extension is a project which looks really hard, but let's check it out. Absolute king line. This wall provides only the best possible climbing, and this route I think is the pinnacle of what you can find here. I was about to make a foot kick all the way there, and then the last physical move, and then you really have to rely on this foot not to slip in order to lean over to the right and finish on the perfect runnel. I think this could be potentially very heartbreaking. You get this beautiful hold, but then you're all on this right pretty slippery foothold, and somehow you have to move here and step on this, and like for sure you don't want to fall here. And you get it and it feels like so hard, but it's actually slabbier than it looks. So
siamo su questa sedia che l'ho portata qua perché quando finivo di chiodare una via mi fermavo qua un po' in questo posto così spettacolare, come si chiama anche la falesia dello spettacolo, perché qua, come potete vedere, la natura ci regala sempre delle bellissime visioni. Verso il 2019 mi sono preso questa soddisfazione di venire a dare un'occhiata a questa parete che ogni volta che andavo ad Arco, scendendo in auto, si vedeva questa grande placca. Avevo chiesto in giro, tanti mi dicevano non si passa, è impossibile, hanno già chiodato, e la mia curiosità era tanta. Sono arrivato ed è stata subito ripagata, perché dopo la prima calata, siccome anche un po' le placche mi piacciono, è uno stile in cui sono nato e ho sempre scalato prevalentemente in placca prima dello strapiombo, ho capito che si poteva fare e ho iniziato a chiodare prima a calarmi, perché non aveva senso mettere una raffica di chiodi e non trovavi mai la soluzione, la linea, no? Allora bisogna in questo caso avere un po' di pazienza, calarsi più volte, cercare di capire anche rimando qualche movimento, e ho iniziato a chiudere qualche via, quelle più basse, quelle più facili, poi man mano che scali su questa roccia lei diciamo ti introduce dentro nel suo mondo, ti porta con sé, ti fa capire che i piedi possono stare, che gli appigli li puoi raggiungere e tutto diventa intrigante per un chiodatore. Scoprire le linee e leggere in do la roccia penso sia la cosa più fantastica che ci può essere.
Yes! Woo! What a route! Definitely one of the best slabs I've ever done. This is such a king line. Making first ascent of this route, which hopefully is a 9A, was such an incredible experience. It was pretty crazy just to find the sequences, but then climbing it all together, it adds a very interesting element, which is the endurance in your feet. The rock is such a low friction and you really have to push in a certain direction so you don't slip off. It's very difficult to have the power all the way to the top. And the final boulder is just so cool. It's both physical and technical. You're up there in this little groove. Right foot is really slippery, left foot is nothing, and you just have to release and just lean into this and then you just want to go, but you have to lean even further into this sort of like a canal hold. It's so good. Grazie! Ma una kingola in assoluta.
Bravo.
Grazie, grazie.
Finalmente, dopo tanti anni, un po' di soddisfazione.
Sì. Penso che nome ha, sì. Ci sta, ci sta. Hai già nome?
C'aveva un nome. Niobe era la dea della superbia nella mitologia greca, che lei aveva 7 figli maschi e 7 figli femmine e si vantava di questo con le altre madri, le quali le fecero uno scherzo e fecero uccidere tutti gli fecero uccidere tutti i figli, no? Il nome di questa via è dedicato a questa superbia che ogni tanto si trova in questo mondo dell'arrampicata, e questo è un messaggio per tutte queste persone di venire a provare qua queste emozioni su queste pareti dove l'arrampicata ha un fascino particolare.
In violin making there is a little quest for eternity. You make a wooden body for the instrument using wood as a substance, as a basic material, and what you are trying to create is a voice which will live after your death for centuries. So you take this material which is now alive, but in the future it will last after his death. There is one Latin motto which is Dum vixit aqui nunc mortua dulce cano. As I was alive, I was silent, but now, after my death, I sing sweetly.
I'm hanging here for a really long time, touching some marginal holes in the middle of this beautiful project. And this is a section which, looking at the section, I was pretty sure it was gonna work. I had no doubt about it. And now I have some ideas that might work, but I know they are all really hard, and there might be possibility that there's something just doesn't come to my mind, but I guess I just give up for today, and it could be for the future. Sometimes before going to sleep there are new betas that come to my mind that sometimes work.